Overnight,
Okay.
mild with lows into the middle 60s period.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Rain chances will arrive for the first part of the day.
Hope you're having a good day.
Cloudy skies period.
We will briefly do a forecast here.
Indianapolis and then south and west.
And then I got to scoot on out of here a little bit earlier than normal today. But we'll do this Facebook Live. And if you have any questions, be happy to answer those. Let me know where you're watching from.
However, central and north central Indiana.
We are also streaming on the YouTubes. It's on my YouTube page as well. So check that out if you are more of a YouTube person. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here.
New drought monitor.
New drought monitors out. Is it droughty?
Moderate drought extended across all of southern.
Is it very very droughty?
Very droughty.
So I've got a view of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's the pagoda, and they got a lot of Ferrari logos up around the track here this morning. See all that red? It's pretty cool.
Severe drought.
So all the Ferrari stuff right now. Pretty day out of the track. Pretty nice day downtown too. That's the view from our backyard, but we're in pretty good shape right there. So here's what we're watching right now. We have Francine. Francine is now a tropical depression.
This weekend,
So it's been downgraded. This actually made landfall on Wednesday as a hurricane. I believe winds peaked at around 95 miles per hour, so it was borderline 1, category 2. But down to depression status now, 35 mile per hour winds. This is going to continue to weaken as it moves over land. You can see all the rain right now into Mississippi and Louisiana and into Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So, Michael, yeah, a little bit of that wildfire smoke. I'll show you that in a second here. It doesn't mix down with the surface, but you may see a little bit of that overhead. I will say that we're going to get a lot more cloud cover today, especially as Francine gets a little bit closer to us. So the smoke won't be as much of an issue because you're not going to be able to see it because we're going to have clouds underneath it. Before we kind of get closer to home, I did want to kind of look at where we stand. Rainfall numbers. Pretty hefty. New Orleans about 6 inches of rain. Southern portions of the state of Louisiana about 5.5 inches of rain. But there's some hot spots even in Alabama near Dothan and even into Georgia around Albany, south of Tallahassee. There's been some very heavy rain. So some really, really hefty rainfall numbers down along the Gulf Coast. 62 currently at 8:46 this morning, mid-50s though around central Indiana. So it is on the cool side, but still comfortable. Now we're seeing some of these clouds working in from the south. This is all related to Francine, okay? And so while we'll stay dry for the day today, I do think we'll see some of these clouds kind of building in through the day. So 87 today. I'm going to go sunny early, mostly cloudy late for today. And then tomorrow, a lot more clouds. You'll see more rain, some rain. I'm not as optimistic as I once was earlier on the week about some of these rain opportunities because we desperately need them. But we do have some of these rain chances kind of coming in here. So let me kind of walk you through that here. Futurecast does have some scattered showers around 5 o'clock in the morning here on Friday. I think this might be overdoing it a little bit. But that's it. I think we'll have some showers around. That's going to continue through around lunchtime. And then I think by the afternoon, we've kind of shut down the rain chances around the metro area. And it's basically going to be rain chances for the rest of your Friday evening, Friday overnight, and probably Saturday, confined to south and southwestern Indiana, okay? That's a look at 11 o'clock in the evening, Saturday night. southern third of the state, you still may get some of these bands of showers. But I'm not overly optimistic that we're going to get some really beneficial rain here in the metro area. If we're lucky, maybe 1/10 of an inch of precipitation. Maybe about 1/3 in Columbus, about 3/4 in Bloomington, about 1/3 in Terre Haute, and then you get maybe southwestern Indiana is where you could get 1 to 2+ inches of rainfall. So that's where the really good rain is going to be. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it here. All right. If you're heading up to Purdue, Notre Dame Purdue game, mid and upper 80s is going to be pretty cloudy. I think it's going to be dry though for tailgaters. It's going to be on the warm side. I'm going to go mid 80s here in the city just because I think we'll have more clouds than sun on Saturday and maybe that chance for a shower, and then mix of sun and clouds on Sunday at 85. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a warm weekend, and unfortunately we're not going to be getting any good rain chances early next week. Sunday we're up to 85, 83 on Monday, 84 Tuesday, 84 Wednesday. So yeah, not looking very soggy. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. That's very kind for you to say. Very, very kind of you to say. Yeah, Beth, I if you live south of Indy, you may get a little wet, but I'm not feeling real confident that we're going to get a ton of rain, and I think we're going to be probably okay for the weekend for the most part. It doesn't look like we're going to get washout rains, but if you do have some outdoor plans, just make sure you're checking up on radar. That's about it. Tara just brought this up. I'm gonna bring this up here. Stand by. She's actually just mentioning it on the air right now. A new drought monitor just came out, so this is no shock to anybody that most of Indiana is either considered an abnormally dry or drought conditions. So it's now drought in eastern Indiana. So places like Fort Wayne, Muncie, Winchester, Hartford City, Portland, Richmond, Rushville, Newcastle, Greensburg, all included in this now what you are considered to be in a moderate drought. Indianapolis still considered abnormally dry. Okay. And then there is a very small area up around Lafayette and Kokomo, Hamilton County, ironically, Madison, Tipton, Howard County, all showing no drought conditions. So a very small part of the state. It's actually worse in Ohio and West Virginia. Look at that. They're under exceptional drought conditions, extreme and exceptional. The dark red is exceptional. So that's real bad. So, and they're not going to get any help from Francine either. So not a great situation. And again, we're not going to get the rain that we were kind of hoping for from Francine, which is still down here. So, hey Rosemary, good morning. Beth says she's watching both me and you, Tara.
Who did?
Beth Reed.
Hi, Beth Reed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna speak for her, but she probably liked mine forecast better than yours.
Oh, of course, yes.
Just a hunch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do look more dapper than I do.
Oh, thank you.
You kind of got the cash look going on with the no jacket on.
No jacket.
Yeah.
It's a little warm in here.
Oh, well, yeah. To you, I'm comfortable.
I didn't want to wear my vest.
The vesties.
Right.
Yeah. You and Phil, vesties.
So, yeah, it's a little warm. Okay. Any questions, anybody?
I have complaints.
Again, let me go. Well,
Get in
you
line.
can take that to management, which would be Ashley Brown. So let me go back to, rainfall expectations. And again, I just don't think it's much here. You got a couple of things that are working against us. One, the air is exceptionally dry, right? We felt that all week long. The dew points are into the 50s. It's made for some very warm afternoons, but it's made for cool overnights but warmer days. And that's really not going to change the day, and not a whole lot tomorrow. So what ends up happening is, even with all this tropical moisture, when you're coming in, initially it evaporates before it hits the ground if you have like a lot of dry air, okay? Now eventually that whole process helps to saturate the air, and then you'll eventually get the rain kind of falling to the surface. But we don't have real heavy rain, I don't think, in the metro. Excuse me, when you're getting some of these bands of moisture coming in here. So that's one problem. The other problem is since you've got a ridge of high pressure that's kind of like northeast of Indiana, it is also suppressing the movement northward. It's suppressing the movement northward for Francine, to where we don't get in the center of that circulation. So you don't have the abundant moisture that will be filling in. And so the harder hit areas are going to be places like Mississippi and Tennessee and parts of Kentucky. It's going to stay well south of us, and that heavy rain doesn't get a chance to move north, unfortunately. So that's kind of what's working against us. Now, that said, there will be parts of the state that get 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, which, again, will take. It puts a dent in the deficit. But, yeah. Here in Indy, 1/10 of an inch is not going to do really much for us. So, does all the dryness make the leaves fall off faster? Todd asks. Yes, it can. It doesn't assist in the process of the leaves changing colors as it would traditionally. I mean, look, that kind of stuff is going to happen regardless, and it's all due to the fact that it gets colder and your daylight gets shorter, right? Go back to your biology classes and photosynthesis and all that other stuff. So that's just the natural, like when you lose the sunlight, you're losing the chance to keep things green. But when you're running dry, you run a drought, now you're not talking about the photosynthesis process. It's just the leaves are dying because it's dry, and that's where the color change is coming from. So you get more of a dull color in some of those trees. So it could speed up the process. It certainly would make the leaves weaker, so if it gets real windy, that those will just blow away as the color changes kind of take place. So, oh, Barbara, thank you. That's very kind of you. Barbara thinks I look dapper.
Oh, good.
And likes the beard and the mustache.
Ooh.
So.
Should come in any of the
Thank you, Barbara.
salt and pepper that's in there? Or?
Listen. I mean, look, I did notice, yes, there is some graying going on in here, So.
Seasoned like a fun one.
See, you never know because I shaved my head, so you wouldn't know.
Oh, there you go.
So it probably does make me look more older and more distinguished, right?
Okay, yeah, well.
Well, I mean, I had the glass.
I cannot think of you as being distinguished.
Well, I mean, I had the
glasses
glasses that make me feel smart, and look smart.
Look smart, that's right.
Doesn't mean I am.
Look. Well,
but here we are. Hey, Terry. Good morning. So, I think that's all I got. So, best chances for rain basically around the metro are going to be tomorrow, Todd. Thanks. Also, this is the first year I heard the term corn sweat out in other states. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Corn sweat's been a thing. I always find this fascinating. And I think it's kind of like a national. Well, look. So we live in an era in a society where, things go viral, right? And so and a lot of that is just thanks to social media. And so I always find it funny that terms that we use in the meteorological world or have that we kind of really thought was mundane. I mean, they're something. Like, for an example, I mean, Todd mentioned corn sweat. Another prime example is polar vortex. Polar vortex has been around since the beginning of the study of meteorology, right? That was not something new, but it was a buzzword that I think the national media picked up on, and so it just spread like wildfire. And I just found it funny. It's like, we get the corn sweat thing, and it's like almost like my Facebook feed is just full of meteorologists all over the country that are doing stories on corn sweat. But yeah, that's been a thing forever. Growing up, I lived in rural Delaware County, and I make this. It's not really a joke. It's a real thing. But I always remember after a really big rain, and then it was like hot and humid after it. You could literally hear the corn pop. It was growing. That's what my dad would always say. You could, if you were out by a field, you could hear like the creaks. It sounded like someone stepping on like an old creaky floor.
Yep.
So, but that said, there are you get like a bunch of moisture and stuff like that. It would be considerably more humid over a field of corn than it would be in a bare, wide open field that is not being used, because it's sucking up moisture, it's spitting out moisture, and so yeah, you can get corn sweat. So it is a real thing. I think part of it too is, you think of how technology has evolved. You think about think about Channel 8 when Stan Wood and Randy Ollis were doing weather here. They had a select few reporting stations like the airports, basically, right? And maybe there was a reporting station that they had here. But now it's like any person can get a very nice weather station at their house, and then you can stream it online. Like I have my own weather station. You can look online and see how much rain I got. There are several in my neighborhood that have the exact same. Like I can look on my phone and I can zoom in. I can see, around me who's picked up rain, what are their winds and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that has a huge role in now, this kind of the phenomenon, because now you've got more you have more samples. Back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, you didn't have a lot of these reporting stations that had that were out in the middle of nowhere, out in the country, rural Delaware County where I grew up. Now, there's a bunch of my old classmates I could probably log on, and I could probably find 6 or 7 just in northwestern Delaware County where I went to high school, where out by where my mom lives, that they have their own weather stations and stuff like that. So there's just so much more data to actually pull in now. So I think that adds to it a little bit too. So thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Well, anybody else have any other questions? I did enjoy talking about the corn sweat. I guess I never really... Oh, no, it's streaming on YouTube. We're good. All right. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, well, I think that'll do it for me today. We will be back at it tomorrow, hopefully with at least a little bit of rain. I know I could use some. And we'll give an update on the weekend forecast too. So doesn't look too bad if you are going to be doing some stuff this weekend. All right, so if you got any questions, per always, write them down. If you're late to this live stream here, I do at least get some notifications so I can try to answer your questions the best I can. If not, hopefully I will see you tomorrow between 8:30 and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning right here on Facebook and on YouTube. and we'll give that final work week forecast. So, is it normal to have all these Barbie? Yes, especially in September. September is a lot like, I'd say September and October is a lot like March and April, in the sense that you're in between seasons, right? I mean, it is fall. It is we're entering into fall, but all fall really is right. It is the separation between summer and winter, and so you're getting in this flux of the back and forth of summer trying to hang on and winter trying to move in. And thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you to say. So yes, the swings are normal. Especially, you kind of feel that even you can get big swings during the daytime hours. I mean, we got down to the mid 50s today, and there'll be some areas that flirt with 90. So you're talking 35-degree swing in just a 12-hour span. So yeah, not out of the ordinary. Some things that are also kind of normal that come along with that is you get some thunderstorms. I know we always think of severe weather as in the spring, but if you're in a transitional period like we're getting ready to enter into, you can get kind of a secondary severe weather season in the month of September and October, because it is a transitional period. It always seems like too, when we're in September and October, it does get a bit more windy too, and that's not uncommon because of the fight of that cold and warm air, right? So yeah, I know that's kind of a long answer, but hopefully that answered your question. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for me, guys. I will be back at 8:30 tomorrow morning, or 8:30, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. Yeah, Stan. It's thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. He is one person, and I don't know if he's still with us or not, but that was one person I wish I could have met. I have been lucky enough to meet most of the people that I grew up watching, when I lived in Muncie. And I got to work with some of them too. Like, obviously Randy, I got the chance to work with Randy. But as I moved into college, I got to work, I got to work with Ken Brewer, who was someone I got to, watch. I think he started at Wish TV when I was either graduating high school or starting at Ball State. Several others that are still in the market here, and so it's been nice to be able to meet all of those guys and gals. But I always appreciate the history. Stan, I remember watching Stan when I was a kid, so a lot of the other big names too. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, okay. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow between 8:30 and 9 o'clock here on Facebook Live. Enjoy your day. Stay cool. It's going to be a little on the toasty side in the upper 80s, so stay cool, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.